Hello, it's Linda with No Frills ASMR. So today I was taking a big road trip. I drove about 9 hours across our great country, and I noticed something that I've noticed plenty of times, which are 3 crosses on the side of the road. And they're generally, anyone who's driven across the U.S., especially probably West Virginia, Kentucky, Tennessee, parts of Virginia, Ohio, probably Indiana, Pennsylvania. I think I've seen them all of those places. You'll see 3 crosses, and 2 are blue, and then 1 is usually yellow, but I don't have yellow. Oh, no, it doesn't work. There's a yellow one in the center, and they're on the side of the road. Usually you can see them from the highway. They're really big. And it always makes me wonder, like, how do all these people know to put up such similar looking crosses? And interestingly, one time I was buying a vintage thing at an estate sale, and I found paperwork about the Coffindaffer crosses. So I thought today we could talk about the Coffindaffer, I guess that's how you say that, Coffindaffer crosses, that you'll see if you're on a road trip in the United States. This isn't religious. It is and it isn't. I'm just speaking of this as a thing that you see in the U.S., not under the religious, but it is a religious thing. Because here's a picture. This is the paperwork that I found in an old suitcase one time. And it was written up. It's called Cast Thy Bread. And this was written in the 60s. Oh, no, I take it back. I'm sorry. 1984. I think he started in the 60s, but this flyer was from the 80s. And this man his last name was Coffindaffer. His name was, and I'm sure it'll be on this letter, Reverend Bernard Coffindaffer. And he just made it his life's work to find people's land who would allow him to erect these crosses to be a remembrance of cavalry. Am I saying that right? Calvary. I should know. I went to church growing up. Calvary, which is, if you're not Christian, is considered a holy land where Jesus of Nazareth was crucified on the cross, and there were 2 other people crucified next to him who he spoke with. And if you are a person who's read the Bible, there's like the conversations he had. So that's what it's based on. So if you drive on a road trip around the United States, and like I said, it's especially around the areas that are for sure West Virginia. But this purple state here is West Virginia. But I have seen them definitely within Pennsylvania, this half of Pennsylvania. Maybe Maryland, I don't know. Definitely West Virginia. Definitely parts of Virginia and North Carolina. I can't say anything about this area, but I'm sure. Definitely in Tennessee and Kentucky. I feel like parts of southern Indiana, I've seen them. I feel like I've definitely seen them through Ohio. So this area, which is kind of known as part of the Bible Belt, they call it in the United States, there's a lot of Baptist and evangelical religious people in this part of the country. And so you will see these crosses along here. And if any of you have ever seen them, and I'm sure you have, and I think they started to move out all into here and here. But, let me know if you've seen what I'm talking about, or you know what I'm talking about. But they do look like this. This picture is from the 80s, but that's pretty accurate. This is kind of a small road, honestly. I think these are the first ones that were erected in West Virginia. But you can drive along any major highway and see these off to the side of the road. And see how they're like two light blue and one yellow? So if you've seen them, I think it'd be kind of fun. Just let me know. But, all right. So, like I said, I found this paperwork, which I found interesting because he says, as we now conclude in West Virginia the erection of the crosses of mercy, we have erected a few outside of our border. So in 1984, they were only in West Virginia. And that's where you'll see a lot of them. If you drive through West Virginia, you see these crosses all over the place. As a token of friendship and love, we are sure you have viewed these and have come to your own conclusion. Fine. I don't know what that means. Over 150 clusters of crosses of 3 each have gone up in all 55 counties in West Virginia and in additional border states. Yeah, like I said, that's where I feel like I'm sure there are probably plenty in this part of Virginia too. I can't say that I recall seeing them in Maryland, but I'm sure they're there. I just maybe didn't notice. They're so ubiquitous in the United States, or at least in this part. You don't even notice them anymore. Like I mentioned it to my son that I was going to do this video, and I showed him a picture, and he's like, well, yeah, they're, like I never even thought about it because they're everywhere. That's how much you see them. And I said, I don't think everybody in the world knows that. So he says, these superbly beautiful crosses have always been of this cause. He spelled cause wrong. It's like me, spelling words wrong. To remind the people to remember that Jesus was crucified on the cross at Calvary. Let's see, where does he say? Let's see, what is this? He includes these 2 coins. I feel like somewhere he says, okay. I assure you I will return of our native West Virginia as I did from World War II, the Pacific battles, ending with Iwo Jima, Nagasaki, and all of it. I am a graduate of the University of Charleston at age 60, 5 children and grandchildren piping and popping around several places. Most of my adult working life, I sold and manufactured magnetite to wash coal. We had a good statewide business, and whammo, in 1982, 2 open heart operations at the Duke University Medical Center in Durham, North Carolina. When I returned to our state, my heart's desire is to proclaim most profoundly the full gospel of Jesus. I have righteous fire in my bones, unquenchable. I thought he said something about the authentic replica of the widow's mite for your lady. Read Mark 12:41. And he gives you these 2 coins that are the widow's mite. Oh, here. Maybe it's here. Of interest to you, no sect, no cult, no denomination supports our work. To commence, we had funds. Subsequently, we received $2 and lately $5 and finally $25 from Christian people. So, I guess he doesn't say it in this letter. I thought he did, but I read about it when I found this letter. And he would basically get the agreement or the permission from different landowners. And a lot of people own like major tracts of land in these places because they're farmers, to erect these crosses. And I think he made them out of old telephone poles. And every cross, the yellow one, he puts nails where, the nails would have been on the crucifixion. And it's just like, what a life's work, you know? It's kind of interesting. So I found this obituary from when he died, and I thought it was kind of interesting. It says, the Reverend Bernard Coffindaffer, a businessman turned evangelist who spent a fortune building trios of crosses beside roads in 29 states and 2 other counties, died Friday at his home. He was 68. The cause was heart attack. He was a Methodist minister and a World War II veteran who fought with the Marines on Iwo Jima. He drew national attention with his plan to erect trios of crosses, 1 gold flanked by 2 blue, throughout the world. He spent more than $3 million on crosses, wiping out money he had made after selling a coal washing mill. In an interview last week, Mr. Coffindaffer said he built 1,842 crosses, cross clusters in 29 states. So it went a lot further than that. So let me know if you've seen them. I wonder if you had any in like Alaska or Hawaii. They don't tell you the 29. I feel like I've seen them all going out west, though, when I've driven out west. But I can't. I'm not positive. In an interview last week, Mr. Coffindaffer said he... Oh, I read that. Oh, in 29 states, the Philippines, and Zambia. Wow. The first tree of crosses, which stood 25 feet high, was erected in 1984, about 65 miles north of Charleston, Virginia. West Virginia, sorry. Okay. Which might be, I wonder if that's these. I wonder if they're, I'm pretty sure they're all still erect, and I'll tell you why in a minute. Mr. Coffindaffer said in 1991 interview that a spirit appeared to him after open heart surgery in 1982 and told him to begin erecting crosses. Sorry if you hear a noise, my kitty cat's, I don't know what he's doing. He's doing so. The crosses are to remind people to remember that Jesus was crucified on a cross at Calvary for our sins, and he will soon return, he said. So, what was I about to say? It was something we read, and I know. I read that there's a group that was going around and making sure all these crosses were still in good shape and fixing them. And then they were going to try to get money together to build more that are made out of, something that won't rust, like metal or whatever. So anyway, I just thought that was kind of interesting because I'm sure a lot of people have seen those and never really, they're things you see all the time that you never kind of give a moment's thought to. And that's how these were until I found this paperwork. And then I was like, oh yeah, I see those all the time. So now we know. Apparently they were erected before 1984 all around West Virginia, and then after 1984 outside the borders. And there are over 1,800 of them worldwide. And it was by this man. So I think that's kind of interesting. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. I hope that didn't feel too either too religious or not enough religious for you. I just think it's kind of an interesting thing, and I always wondered about it, I guess. The other thing I was thinking about today while I was driving was billboards. Because I have my husband's aunt who's from England said there they don't have billboards. At least this was in the 1980s, she said that. So I've often wondered about them. So I think I'll do that next on my, it's becoming a road trip. What's the word I'm looking for? A series of videos about my road trips and things I think about. Anyway, so I hope you enjoyed it, and trying to think. I took some interstates today. I definitely took a highway today. And I really like the smaller roads better. They're kind of more fun to drive, and you tend to see more. If you stay on the interstate, you see a lot of exits where there's a couple of gas stations and a Taco Bell / KFC, which is Kentucky Fried Chicken, and a McDonald's. But today I just packed a peanut butter and jelly and just went nonstop. So there's an area in the U.S. I should look it up. I'm not sure there are probably no definite borders, but I would say it's most of the South and well, let's see, definitely Kentucky and Tennessee, Mississippi. It's probably parts of Ohio, parts of Pennsylvania, and definitely parts of Virginia. So I would say in these areas. Maybe parts of Texas. But anyway, this would be considered the Bible Belt. So if you're not from here, it's kind of known for having a lot of Baptist and evangelical. So they call it that because there's a lot of religion in that area. Probably more than maybe the rest of the country. Although I'd say the U.S. is a pretty religious country overall, I think. But I don't know anything about that. Really. I've been told that by people from other countries. Oh my goodness. My pen isn't going away. What do you guys think about that? Am I right or wrong about that? Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Probably depends on the country, I guess.